Let's take a look at this report first, and then I'll be making some very, very interesting comments.
Well, look, I agree with what Paul Burrell said as well. He said that there were always going to be potential cracks appearing in this marriage because, with great press and great attention comes great pressure, so understandably, it's like any celebrity marriage, those sort of rarefied conditions the relationship is in is not necessarily conducive to maintaining a relationship. So I would not be surprised if any of this is true. But the other thing we have to consider is that Meghan and Harry, particularly it seems Meghan, seem to be willing to do anything to get attention, including sort of potentially fabricating this near catastrophic car chase through the streets of Manhattan, when anyone who's been to Manhattan will know that the city is built like a grid. There are red lights everywhere and no one can move for the traffic. So how would you possibly have a car chase? These strange factoid things throw out there that seem so bizarre, but it gets them so much media and public attention, and they have, these contracts with Netflix. Harry's,
First thing first, I just want to make mention of this person, Paul Burrell, who was the butler of Princess Diana until her death in 1997. Basically, he is the one who has still connection with these two brothers, Harry and William. The reason for that is because he knows them since they were kids. The only person looks like to me, after reading and doing my study and research, the only person looks like who still has some good connection with Harry and from whom Harry might take some advice is this person, Paul Burrell, that she may just mention. Again, he was the butler of Princess Diana for a very long time. I think it is about 10 years. Therefore, it is now obvious that Harry is in big trouble. And Duke of Dufuses, he contacted him. And he probably, I'm talking about Harry, he probably told Paul Burrell that, look, I don't want to stay in the US anymore because my marriage is falling apart and I have revealed too much personal details, the drug abuse and all of those things. Therefore, I need a place in the UK. I'm planning to move back. That's how you get the news from Paul Burrell saying that Harry has a plan. And even Meghan, both of them together, will probably move back to UK. Now, if you take a look at Meghan's decision, of course, she is going to be much better off staying in the States, because that way she will have custody of the kids and she will have a lot of control over a lot of things. Therefore, she is not going to be moving back. But Paul Burrell, I think he did not want to tell us yet that this couple, they are getting divorced. Rather, they're actually moving to UK. He's not ready. He's not there yet. But sooner than later, we'll find out that this marriage is over and that Harry is now seeing a lawyer.
A couple more books. They need public attention to actually make money and make their whole strange little business structure grow. So it actually wouldn't surprise me if these were very calculated leaks from the Sussex camp, suggesting that there's a split on the cards, because either way, whether there is and there isn't, we're all going to look and go, ooh, what's happening here? Absolutely. Even Lady Colin Campbell herself said to be prepared that just about anything coming out of Camp Montecito was a lie.
The reason we're talking about this is because of this news coming on Mirror, and also it was confirmed by Lady C. Collins, and she is saying exactly the same thing. Socialite claims Prince Harry had contacted divorce lawyers amid Meghan Markle's marriage problems. There have been problems in the marriage, supposedly for some time. I have heard from 5 totally reliable sources. Now, this is where things get very, very interesting. 5 different reliable sources that Harry called in lawyers some months ago. By looking at the timeline when this relationship was falling apart, we can say it happened when she said months ago. It most likely happened end of last year or beginning of this year, beginning of January. But one thing for sure, it started to snowball, this whole marriage divorce thing, from the day when Harry, if you remember, he published his memoir. There was a report last year, end of last year again, that said that Meghan was totally against Harry publishing that memoir right after the Netflix docuseries. He did not listen to her. That could be one of the reasons. But then I think at that point, this was a pivotal moment for them in the relationship, where they probably discussed that, look, we have differences, we are not going to resolve it. We had differences in the past, never got resolved. Therefore, moving forward, I'm not going to be with you. So when Harry was promoting his memoir, we did not see him at all with Meghan Markle. Rather, Meghan Markle at that time, she was hanging out with millionaires and politicians that I have reported already. But this report that Lady Collins confirmed, it said again 5 reliable sources, and it started to happen months ago. Both will make sense. A prominent author and socialite has claimed Harry and Meghan have had problems, quote unquote, in the marriage, supposedly for some time. Amid rumors, the prince called in divorce lawyers months ago, quote unquote. Lady Collins, 73, was commenting on reports alleging Harry had been spending time alone in 2 hotels, one near his home in Montecito and another one in Los Angeles, the Scottish Daily Express reports. If you take a look at her reporting, Lady C. Collins, you see something very, very special, because normally when you report something on a rumor especially, we do not have like a lot of details. But looks like in this case, she was very, very specific. She specifically mentioned how long he is spending in that hotel, where the hotels are even, and he is saying that this hotel, 2 hotels, she specifically mentioned 2 hotels, one near his home in Montecito and another in Los Angeles. Unless she is absolutely clear, unless she is absolutely convinced about these reports, she is not going to come out and say the way she said it to Scottish Daily Express reports. From this, we can say that her reporting, what she found out from these 5 reliable sources, they're trustworthy, and we have seen that over and over again. When Meghan and Harry, they were appearing in public places, we did not see them kissing, we did not see them hugging, we did not even see them sitting together sometimes. So yes, these reports corroborate what we have seen them doing in public. Lady Campbell, who is known as Lady C, claimed the Great Britain, I think, news, quote, there have been problems in the marriage supposedly for some time. I have heard from 5 totally reliable sources that Harry called in lawyers some months ago. The problem is that the information does not necessarily match up with their public face, but of course their public face is to an extent slapped on for monetary gain. But I think if you take a careful look at how they're appearing in public, I think it is very evident that something is wrong with the marriage. And also, if there are real problems in the marriage, which there do appear to be, Harry is going to have a heck of a time extricating himself, because he has been very overt about all of his fallings and all of his drug taking. The biggest problem for Harry for revealing all of those things, private things, drug use, the main problem is not really that he will be deported. Looks like the biggest problem to me looks like for him would be that he will not have any access to his kids. Meghan can go to the court and say, you know what, this guy, he's a drug abuser, we are not going to allow him near the kids. So it's a done deal for Harry, and he will have one heck of a time to deal with this narcissist. A report emerged this week that the Duke of Dufus's had a room kept aside for him at a chain in Montecito near his $12 million home, where he lives with his wife Meghan and their 2 kids, Archie and Lili. Sources told Sun Harry occasionally stays at the hotel without his wife there. The prince is also alleged to have a room at San Vicente Bungalows, a private members club in LA, near where he attends a gym class called Baddies Boot Camp. Look guys, if this was not true, we would not have so much detailed information. This shows that the news we are receiving from Lady C. Collins and from other sources about their split is absolutely happening. The sprawling mega city is around 100 miles from the exclusive coastal estate where they live alongside many other famous faces. During a discussion with Dan Wotton, Lady Collins said, quote, he is not in a very good position legally in terms of preserving his position, especially in terms of custody of the children, but I don't know that it's got to that stage yet. Yes, it is too early to comment on child custody, but it is obviously going to happen, and it will all pan out for Meghan, and this is how she planned from day one. Guys, her leaving UK, not staying in Canada or in Australia, had a big motive, and that was that if she could somehow convince Harry to stay in US, somehow in the States where she is a citizen, she could have complete control over his affairs, and this is what we are seeing being panned out. Now she is probably saying to him that leave or else something big will happen. So he is staying in a hotel. So he is, in other words, listening. He is obeying all of her orders in order to get a good deal, in order to win her mind. And I know, and you know, for narcissist people, once it's done, they consider you to be the worst of enemies.
Particularly when there are children involved, and these are, little, as you said, very gorgeous children we talked about. We will see what happens, but I will be certainly watching with the popcorn to see what the state of the marriage is like over the next 12 months or so.
And Louise, to be fair, the recent news about Harry and Meghan does seem a little bit all over the place. There's also a suggestion that they move back to the UK. Now, what are the chances of that happening?
Well, together, I would say very slim. I think Meghan's made it very clear she has no intention of living back in the UK again. There's some suggestion that they may purchase a property so they have a home to go to, as it were, which would be a fantastic idea, because one of the sad parts, and I think Sir Daisy alluded to this, of this whole Megxit situation is the children not growing up with their cousins and not getting to know their actually wider family, whether or not Harry and Meghan, of course, want to socialise with them.
We'll have more details. This is a developing story. If you are, again, not subscribed to this channel, consider to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.